This video will show you how to inspect and lubricate your O-ring on your HOBO Pendant data logger. Here we have a HOBO Pendant temp logger. The procedure will be the same with the HOBO Pendant temp light logger and the HOBO Pendant G logger. The HOBO Pendant event logger, it would be similar, except there would be a cable coming out of the top of the logger that you have to kind of slide the cap over in order to get to the O-ring. There's some important points to talk about before we get started. You want to make sure that you are going to be using silicone-based O-ring grease. This is a Buna N O-ring, so you want to make sure we're using silicone-based lubricant only. We don't want to use petroleum-based or other types of lubricants. It might damage the O-ring. What we're using Parker Super O Lube. Parker also makes a regular O Lube, but we want to make sure the word super is here and that it says silicone-based lube. You want to make sure that the logger is clean and dry. You want to make sure that your work area is completely clean. You want to avoid any kind of contamination that might stick to the O-ring. Even a human hair could cause it to leak. You also want to avoid any static discharge when you have the thing open. There are sensitive electronics inside that could be damaged by a static discharge, and you can make sure that you are completely discharged by touching an unpainted metal object prior to opening up the logger. So to expose the O-ring, what we want to do is we want to remove the stainless steel screws from each side of the cover. And then you pop the cover off. I use my screwdriver to kind of just leverage that. So we pop it off of there. Here's one with the cover off. Here's our cover. And you can see here's the O-ring. Here's the desiccant pack inside. This one's pink. So what we want to do is we're going to, you can recondition these desiccant packs by putting them in an oven for like a couple of hours at 100 degrees Fahrenheit, no hotter. And this will turn blue again and they'll be fine to reuse. So to remove the O-ring from the cap, the easiest way to do it is to put your fingers on the sides of the cap here and kind of slide them forward, and you can see, you'll see the O-ring start to bulge out a little bit right here, and just take your finger and take the O-ring off like that. And what you want to do is you want to inspect the O-ring for any signs of damage or cracking. If it is cracked or damaged in any way, you want to replace it. What we want to do now is we want to put a little O-ring lube on this O-ring. This O-ring is in good shape. You want to use a very small amount. I'm just going to set this here for a minute. You want to use a very small amount of O-ring lube. Just a small dollop will do. Like so. You want to work that into the O-ring all the way around, inside and out. And again, it doesn't take very much. You don't want to use too much because that would not, this isn't a less is more kind of thing. You want to just use the minimal amount required. Okay? And then we slide that back onto the cap, making sure that it fits right into that groove. Okay. We also want to put a little bit of O-ring lube on the inside of the cover right here, making sure we go over the screw holes. Again, you don't have to use very much, but this is an important step. We put the desiccant pack back in. Again, we didn't recondition this one, but you should recondition it before you put it in, or put in a fresh one. And then you slide the cap back in and it should slide right into place. You want to make sure that the O-ring is still in place in the groove. You will get some resistance because of the air that's inside the case. That's completely normal. Just inspect it all the way around. Make sure that the O-ring is still in the groove, and then replace the screws. When you tighten those screws down, make sure that they bottom out against the plastic, but you don't tighten them too much, because if you do, you'll disfigure the case and it won't seal properly. For more information on onset loggers, please go to our website at onsetcomp.com. Thank you.